From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Thursday, April 14th. We're going to get plenty of sunshine today. It'll be windy as well. There are some wind advisories issued for a lot of your Thursday in the northern third of Indiana. So central Indiana, it shouldn't be too bad. But in that northern area, wind gusts could be 45 miles per hour with isolated gusts up to 50 miles per hour possible. Highs are expected to be cooler today in the upper 50s to low 60s. And the National Weather Service is looking into whether a tornado touched down during last night's storms that rolled through specifically the Bedford area and Decatur County. The service is also looking into a report of a possible tornado there. The report came in just before 8:30 last night southwest of the town Millhausen. The report says there's damage to trees and power lines. And thousands of people are still without power this morning after storms hit in and around Louisville. The severe weather tore down trees and scattered debris across neighborhoods. NWS confirmed that an EF2 tornado is what devastated a southeast Minnesota town. Surveyors say the twister in Teope carried winds exceeding 130 miles per hour. 2 people were injured. It leveled homes and upended trucks when it touched down late Tuesday. Officials say the people who were injured were taking cover in their basement and are expected to be okay. Here in Indianapolis, a person is dead and another critically wounded in 2 separate shootings overnight. They happened just minutes apart. Police say a man was shot to death around 2:40 this morning at the Indy Trade Bar at 30th and Sherman. Police say they do have a suspect they're looking for.
Got a limited suspect information. Black male fled the scene in a white Ford F-150 truck. He went north on Sherman and then west down 30th Street. Right now, that's all we have in reference to the incident.
If you have any information, you're asked to call police. The other shooting moments later happened in a home in the Traders Point area off Lafayette Road near 82nd Street. Officers say they found a woman shot and in critical condition. Medics took her to St. Vincent Hospital. IMPD has not said who shot her or why.
We were able to shrink his world quickly. There was nowhere left for him to run.
Today, the man arrested and charged in the New York City subway shooting will appear in court for the first time. Prosecutors charged Frank James with breaking a law banning terrorist and other violent attacks against a mass transportation system. Investigators say James called in the Crime Stoppers tip himself, leading NYPD officers to arrest him. He faces a life sentence if convicted. The attack left 10 people wounded. Police say they hope the arrest brings some justice to the victims.
We hope this arrest brings some solace to the victims and the people of the city of New York. We used every resource at our disposal to gather and process significant evidence that directly links Mr. James to the shooting.
Authorities say they're looking through YouTube videos James left behind. In the videos, he talks about his desire to kill and advocates for mass violence. Investigators say that he'd had previous run-ins with the law involving possession of burglary tools, criminal sex acts, and theft of service. Police in Georgia are sharing new information on their search for a missing Carmel woman, Sierra Breland. They say multiple agencies looked for her in the Chattahoochee River but didn't find anything. News 8 has also learned that Breland was last seen on camera at her mother-in-law's house. Police were not able to share that video. She was also last seen driving a 2017 Volkswagen SUV with Georgia plates. Breland disappeared in late February. Xavier Breland Jr., her husband, reported her missing after the two took a trip to Georgia. He has been named a person of interest in Sierra Breland's disappearance. He's in jail in Georgia for charges in another case. And today, through attorneys, family members will talk about a deadly shooting by police in Michigan. The shooting is prompting protests in Grand Rapids where it happened. Patrick Lyoya was 26 years old. The shooting was last week. Police released dash cam, body cam, security camera, and cell phone video yesterday. Police say it started with a traffic stop. An officer pulled over Lyoya for driving with a license plate that didn't match the car. When the officer tried to arrest Lyoya, the two fought over the officer's taser before the officer fired. Police say the struggle lasted about 90 seconds and that the officer repeatedly ordered Lyoya to let go. Video from a second officer's body camera shows the first officer on top of Lyoya in his final moments.
Right now, I'm still trying to process it. It made me sick to my stomach. It made me sick to my stomach from the beginning of the video to see how the murderer started when he pulled Patrick over until the end.
A prominent civil rights attorney is representing Leoya's family. He calls it unnecessary force against a black man who is confused for his life. Prosecutors say they'll review all evidence before deciding whether to file charges. To IT Mate now, and the newly released identity of a 17-year-old who was found dead nearly 30 years ago. The Boone County Sheriff identified the girl as Margaret Ann Snegowski Jr. The sheriff says she was last seen by her family in Ohio in April of 1991. A farmer found her body on his property in May of 1992. The sheriff's department exhumed Snegowski's body twice since for DNA samples and eventually got a match from a sibling who submitted DNA through an ancestry search. Snegowski's brother struggled through tears, saying his family never gave up hope.
My family is grateful for everybody that looked, worried, searched, cared, cried, and handled my little sister over these years. In this case, as if she was your own little sister. Thank you.
The sheriff's department says it does consider Snegowski's death a homicide, though a cause of death was never released. And you can expect to get some money from the state in the coming months. Taxpayer refunds should start hitting bank accounts next month. The payments are $125 per person or $250 per couple who filed together. If you filed taxes with direct deposit information the last 2 years, deposits start in May. Paper checks will start going out in July if you've stayed analog or if you've asked for an extension on this year's tax return. You don't have to do anything to get the refund. It's coming because the state took in more tax money than expected. To the war in Ukraine, where Ukraine military officials claim their forces hit a Russian warship with a missile strike in the Black Sea. Russia says, however, that a fire set off the ammunition on the ship, causing serious damage. Neither claim has been independently verified. Experts say either way, it is a devastating blow for Russia as they enter the 50th day of the invasion. It comes as President Joe Biden is approving $800 million in new military assistance to Ukraine in hopes of enhancing its defense potential. Administration officials are also defending President Biden after he called Russia's aggression genocide.
When the president ran, he promised the American people he would shoot from the shoulder, is his phrase that he often uses, and tell it to them straight. And his comments yesterday, not once but twice, and on war crimes are an exact reflection of that. What is unquestionable is what we're seeing is horrific: the targeting of civilians, of hospitals, of even kids, the president was calling it like he sees it, and that's what he does.
Russia responded to Biden's use of genocide, calling it unacceptable. And Russia is banning nearly 400 U.S. lawmakers from entering the country. It's retaliation for a similar travel ban the U.S. implemented against 328 members of Russia's parliament. 398 members of Congress were named in Russia's statement, including 4 Indiana representatives: Jim Banks, Larry Bouchon, Jackie Walorski, and Jim Baird. In a statement sent to News 8, Jim Banks called it an honor to be officially recognized as an enemy of Vladimir Putin. He went on to say Putin has attacked the seat of American democracy, and the Biden administration has left many countermeasures on the table. The president must respond appropriately and forcefully by imposing secondary sanctions and cracking down on the majority of Russian oligarchs who he has so far refused to sanction. Lawmakers in Kentucky are pushing forward with new abortion restrictions. They overrode Governor Andy Beshear's veto yesterday. The bill bans abortions after 15 weeks and adds restrictions to abortion pills. Abortion rights activists say the new rules will force clinics in the state to pause procedures until a court fight over the issue is over. They say attorneys for the clinics will likely ask courts to block the new rules. The Food and Drug Administration is approving a new Fitbit feature that monitors heart rhythms. Fitbit says an algorithm looks at volume changes in the user's blood, which determines heart rhythms. The software is then supposed to alert the user if it detects an irregular heartbeat, or AFib. The company says the new feature will soon be available across a range of their devices. The Indiana State Fair revealed its theme for 2022 this morning, Revved Up. The fair says it'll celebrate Indiana's worldwide recognition for its automotive history. The fair expects to bring in iconic celebrity cars from movies and books, plus world-class classic car collections showcasing Indiana-made vehicles. That's on top of the traditional carnival rides, fair food, entertainment, and more. The State Fair begins July 29th. You can watch Indy cars on the track next week. Drivers are running test laps at the Speedway April 20th and 21st. If you want to go, it's free to sit on the Turn 2 viewing mounds. The tests are set 11 to 6 Wednesday and 10 to 4 Thursday. All drivers currently slated to race in May can run test laps next week. Today is a groundbreaking ceremony for a new $47.9 million development in Noblesville. The mixed-use project is along the east side of the White River on 6th and Connor. It includes 219 apartment units, 5,295 square feet of retail space, and about 300 garage spaces. The ceremony is at 11 this morning. And starting today, you can see a new exhibit at the Indianapolis International Airport. The airport's unveiling an Afghan mural this morning. It pays tribute to the more than 7,000 Afghan evacuees who were temporarily housed at Camp Atterbury. It tells the story of their initial fear and then the welcoming spirit in Indiana. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.